This is the Carlsbad Caverns in New Mexico. I'm going to run you through the perfect itinerary of the perfect day of how to enjoy everything that Carlsbad Caverns has to offer. There's a lot more than just going and exploring underground at the caverns, and so I'm going to take you through how to get through all the activities that you can do at the caverns in one single day. So I decided to start with this picture because it shows that the caverns and going underground and spelunking isn't something scary. It's not something scientific. You don't need a calculator. You don't need a headlamp necessarily. You just have to be open to the idea that you might get a little dirty and you might see something cool, as cheesy as that is. It's really important to have a good time and realize that people of all different activity and age levels can enjoy the caverns. This is a really cool retro map that I found of the caverns. There's two different ways to enter the underground. One is that big elevator that you see in the middle of the screen, and the other is to the left, near the Batcave natural entrance. The natural entrance is that winding path we just saw on the previous slide. So once again, all activity and age levels are catered to. So to kick the perfect itinerary off at Carlsbad, I would recommend starting with a ranger guided tour. If the Obamas are at Carlsbad, it has to be cool, right? So the ranger guided tour is all different skill levels, and this one is one of the easier ones. And they're there to provide safety tips, educational information, and kind of give the overall enhancement of experience. This is the King's Palace tour, and it goes 830 feet underground. It's about a mile and a half long, about an hour and a half long tour. And at one point in the tour, that ranger will turn off all lights and kind of give the visitors an experience of what being truly underground in the dark feels like. So for the more advanced and adventurous cave goer, this is the Spider Cave tour. There's equipment necessary, which they will provide, and it's definitely for someone who doesn't mind getting dirty and is looking forward to crawling around in the dirt and the rocks in the cave. They'd recommend having a ranger-guided tour or some more experience before going on that tour. If follow the leader isn't really your thing, there are self-guided tours for someone who wants to experience the caverns maybe on their own or without like the hindrance of a group and just kind of go at their own pace. A big concern for self-guided when most people hear about them is, oh, will I still get all the info that the ranger will provide? Yes, there are audio tapes that you can plug in and listen to, and as you go around really cool things, for example, the witch's finger in the left picture in the big room tour, you'll still get to know all about the witch's finger and all these cool formations through the audio tape. So it's like having a ranger there without the hindrance of the big group or going at the ranger's set pace. And this slide and the slide before were both the big room tour, which is the most popular tour at Carlsbad. This slide is also a picture of the big room tour. I included it because on the left you can see that people with disability or maybe physical hindrances can still enjoy the caverns because it's easily accessible. And on the right is a water pool, which is an homage to the Carlsbad Caverns beginnings, hundreds of millions, billions years ago, when the caverns were formed from an inland sea. And as that sea began to go down and as people started to come into the New Mexican area, Native Americans lived in the Carlsbad Caverns. And this is an example of a pictograph that was drawn 12 to 15,000 years ago, and people can see during the Big Room tour. This is Rattlesnake Springs. It's above ground at the Carlsbad Caverns, and was a rendezvous spot for Native Americans and ranchers. This area is a great place to have a picnic dinner, so after spending all day underground, playing around in the caves, touring, I'd recommend coming up, having dinner above ground, getting a breath of fresh air before you go see the bats. The bats are a really huge draw for the Carlsbad Caverns because it's home to 17 different species. When I developed this slide, I wanted to put a really creepy, gross picture of a Halloween typical bat. But as I did this project, I realized bats are actually pretty cool, pretty cute, and that's kind of what Carlsbad wants to teach visitors, is that bats aren't something that's really scary or something to be afraid of. This picture is a photo of 400,000 Brazilian free-tailed bats, which is one of the 17 species at Carlsbad. The cute little guys in the previous slide were also Brazilian free-tailed. And the Brazilian free-tailed leave the cave every night around dusk. And in spring and summer, a ranger will lead an information session, which in the left picture, that gray blurb, that is a ranger giving an information session in the evening. And as the sun begins to set, the bats will zoom right over the top of the tourist's head and visitors' heads as they go get dinner. So it's good for people to interact with nature and bats without necessarily having to touch or get too close to a bat. And immediately after the bat flight program, there's the night sky party, which is just essentially a huge watch party for all of the visitors who want to get a nice view of the constellation and stars away from all the city light pollution. Rangers are going to be scattered throughout. The night sky parties give information about astronomy, about local folklore, which is really cool, like, you know, the Native American kind of infused version of how the stars came about, nocturnal animals, and all that sort of night information. And if the view with the naked eye isn't enough, there are telescopes for rent at the night sky parties so people can get as up close and personal with the sky as they want. And if that isn't enough night sky for people, about every 28 to 30 days, every time there's a full moon, there are full moon walks. It's a 3/4 of a mile hike in the hills above the Carlsbad that's ranger led, and it gives people a time to really kind of be one with nature in the night sky and get a more up close feel of the stars. And about every 3 weeks, the International Space Station flies over the Carlsbad Caverns, and it's a great place to spot the space station because there's no that city light pollution, and it looks like the perfect shooting star as it goes by. And if any of you are actually in New Mexico tonight, that's when the next flyover is. On April 15th, there's National Free Park Day, and that is a nationwide day where national parks are offering free entrance to people. The $10 fee to enter Carlsbad Caverns will be waived. The only thing people have to pay for will be the ranger-led tours. Everything else that I've mentioned is free. So this is my very official ranger that has approved my schedule of doing the ranger-led tour, the self-guided tour, dinner at Rattlesnake, bat flight program, the night sky programs. She agrees that if you want to check out Carlsbad, the free park day is the best day to do it.